That's James's meal. It's spinach salad and chili, but the spinach is a bit wilted because I made it a few hours ago. I thought James would be over already, but oh well.
Guy's doing a lot of snow removal.
And that's what I'm going to be talking about today.
A whole lot of snow removal.
Well, there's a lot of snow. But I got to talk to a lot of people while I was out walking to the library this morning.
Yeah, people would be out walking, enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, and they were clearing the snow. I was. It's funny because I saw a little deer walking down the sidewalk because they
a little baby deer.
Well, no, just a younger female.
There we
I
go.
think.
Yeah.
And so she was walking down the sidewalk ahead of me.
Yeah.
Because I guess she'd figured, the snow is too deep elsewhere. I'm just gonna go on. It's pretty cute.
This is for the soup, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
So just be careful. It's going to be hot right now.
It looks very hot.
Yeah, you might want to start with some
salad. I think I'll start with a salad.
So, I'll start with this. This is Old by M. Night Shyamalan. I think that's how you say the name. I don't know.
I like the night part of the name. That's awesome.
Well, I do like the name, but I don't tend to like his movies.
Yeah.
I just find them kind of boring or whatever. But anyway, this one is set on a beautiful beach, so that helps.
Where is the beach? Did they specify? Okay, they didn't.
I don't. Maybe they did. Honestly, I've been watching movies while writing poetry, so. Yeah,
you've been writing some pretty good poetry, so that means the movies watching suffered a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, it's in the background, it's on, and every once in a while I look up. Yeah, I don't know.
The sad thing is you probably get a fairly good idea of what's happening in the movies just from the cursory kind of viewing that you're giving.
I think enough.
Well,
I don't think I need to give.
Well, I'd almost say with a lot of stuff that's out there, maybe almost too much, but.
And so you might say, okay, well, with that review of Old, should I even bother listening to these other ones? Because, the Old was on the top of the stack.
I like the cover though.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what happens to you when you get old. You look at your leg and you say, "That's not the way I recall it being."
Yeah, well, it's the same. You look, especially once a woman hits menopause, and you look in the mirror and you're like, "Oh, who is that old woman?" or whatever, right? And my mom said that to me once. She'd looked in the mirror and she said, "Who?"
I can remember someone saying when they were about 40 or something like that, saying to me, it was like you looked in a window, let's say in a shop or something like Eaton's, and she was just saying, "Who is that old person?" So it
happens to every woman. And I heard there was a young woman, a woman in her 30s, was talking about how to keep from getting wrinkles and stuff. I thought, oh dear.
The thing is,
just wait 15 years.
Yeah,
and the lips will start wrinkling up, and you're like, "Oh no, I don't want that."
People worry too much about that. They should be
it's
worrying about what they eat.
Yeah.
And exercising.
Exercising their mind.
And exercising their mind.
It doesn't really matter ultimately what you look like on the outside.
Well,
it is what is it's inside that counts.
It's hard to be healthy and look overweight. It's hard, and that includes brain function.
So just focus on other things, and the beauty, the outer beauty, will follow to a large extent.
Exactly right.
You're going to get older. You're going to get wrinkles, but you can be healthy and older.
Yeah. And function properly. So
drink lots of water
as much as possible.
Avoid things that make you lose your water that you're needing in your body. So avoid the caffeine and avoid the
tea, maybe the wrong types of tea.
There's caffeine in there, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
pop has got to be awful for a person, right?
Avoid the things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid cigarette smoking.
Oh my God!
Whatever, right?
First or second-hand smoke, yeah. Avoid vaping.
I haven't made the healthiest meal for James today. the salad's pretty good.
Oh, the salad's awesome.
But it looked better a couple hours ago. But and it looks like he's putting some of the vegetables in the chili, because that was my comment about the chili, that from this can, it's like, there's no vegetables in there. What's going on?
Now there is.
So now there is. James puts them in there. He put his peppers and some spinach.
Well, that just was accidental. I was putting the peppers in. The spinach got in there by accident. Yeah. I think I'm going to put some walnuts in there too.
Sure.
But you see, if you got walnuts and peppers and oranges, and this is spinach. It's not like lettuce or something like that. Spinach has got some real.
Lettuce is pretty good too.
Powerful.
James
lettuce
has found
is pretty
that
good.
with romaine lettuce, it helps keep things
regular in the other way.
Yeah.
Like
because his medication and everything, it gets him. Everything just flows.
Gets things running.
Yeah.
Now, it's not always that way. They'll actually say one of the side effects can be constipation.
Yeah.
Another side effect can be diarrhea.
Yeah.
And for a while there, it could be one or the other. But then now it's just diarrhea.
Yeah.
So I've got I get on something. I'm not going to mention the proprietary name, but I find I take you're allowed to take up to 4 installments a day. I take 1 or 2 every 3 days, so 1 every day and a half, and that seems to keep me regular in the other sense.
Yeah.
In another sense of the word.
So I didn't spend a lot of time on James's meal, because I made the salad, and then he wasn't here, so I went to the library, and then I came back, and then I saw him out the window in the kitchen. I'm like, uh-oh, because I have the salmon in. I put the salmon in. I didn't want to, leave the oven on while I was gone. So
yeah. Well, we'll see. The salmon's going to be a challenge, because my back was toast even last night. Yeah, I had to take breaks with my. I cleared a place for the car. It's here.
Yeah, I saw it.
But I cleared a place for the car and whatnot. And I did. I don't know how many installments last night. Like I did one when I got back. One about I think 2 o'clock. And then
there's a lot of snow out here right now, but it's going to be, things are changing for the warmer.
Yeah, exactly right. So, maybe even for the better.
Ruby Herring Mysteries 3-movie collection. This is from Hallmark.
Oh my God!
And one thing, it's very obvious that this woman is not a natural redhead. So don't draw attention to the fact.
She's so.
I mean, sure, give her the name Ruby Herring. People sometimes they have a name that it's like the parents like the name Ruby, and she didn't have red hair, and now she thinks, okay, well, I may as well go with the red, because people keep asking me about why are you
called Ruby.
But so that works. That works just fine. You don't have to have it in the dialogue. Oh, did you know Nancy Drew was a redhead or whatever? Like,
was she?
I don't know.
Okay.
Apparently,
maybe she's.
Somebody was saying strawberry blonde in this, but anyway, it just when you draw attention to it, then you look at her and go, yeah, but you're not a redhead. It's very obvious. Her eyebrows are almost black, and anyway, so this I barely looked up. I was writing poetry. It didn't distract me, so that I can say, well, that's good, because I got a lot of work done while it was on. It wasn't distracting.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of Hallmark things are that way, right?
Yeah.
They're about as innocuous as Hallmark cards.
Yeah. And then on the bottom, the invitation. And this one, it's a vampire thing.
Oh my God.
And you get it right away. I mean, it's not like I'm giving it away and you're like, oh no, you've spoiled the whole movie for me. It's obvious. So, and if it wasn't obvious to you, well, poor you.
That's more like me. I never figure murder mysteries out, either in movie form or in novel form.
Yeah. So,
with one exception, Dorothy L. Sayers. She used to think she was just hot, we'll say spit, but the one novel of hers I read, I figured it out right away. It wasn't so good. So
in this story, there's an African American woman she's not even very African American. She's pretty beige, honestly. She has the
like
curly
Berry
hair though, so maybe a little. I don't know. Maybe a little bit darker than Halle Berry.
Okay.
I don't know. But really, honestly, she has a fairly European look to her.
Kind of like Beyonce, only lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Beyonce's got European kind of features.
Yeah. So in any case, she does some genetic test, and she finds out she's related to a bunch of wealthy people in Britain. So she agrees to. One of her relatives asked her if she'd like to meet, and she, like a second cousin or whatever, and she's like, sure. So she meets this guy, and he's really wealthy, buys dinner and stuff, and he's like, oh, there's going to be a wedding, everyone would love to meet you, why don't you come? And she's like, well, I can't afford that. And so he's like, no, don't worry, I'm loaded. And so he pays for her way, and she goes and she has this she stays in this beautiful castle, and everything seems so lush, right? She's really being pampered, but things take a dark turn, and in the end, it's basically, okay, well, she's married this guy and killed off the family, so now she's inherited all the wealth, it looks like, and I'm telling you because it's not worth watching. And at the end of the movie, there's the song that's playing through the credits is something like, hey, Mr. Badman, give me your crown. And honestly, it's the takeaway from this movie is wealthy white people are a bunch of vampires, like they're monsters, so it's like serious. She's drawing attention to race the whole time she's talking about it. So she identifies as being African American. She says so. It's not me, it's not the audience saying so, she says so. She draws attention to the race. And whereas the vampire family, they don't really seem to care about that at all, right? They're not concerned about the race, they're concerned about the fact that she's a part of the bloodline that they need, right? So, in any case,
so what you're saying is maybe the movie's a little bit racist?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Extremely racist. And I don't get the impression that it's a bunch of African people who made this movie, or even African Americans, or I get the impression that, maybe I'm wrong, how would I know, right? But it seems to me that it's probably a bunch of Caucasian people who made this movie and are trying to get black people killed. Honestly, it's because you can't be having a movie where the big heroine of the movie is like, yeah, white wealthy men are vampires, so let's kill them and take their crowns away. Like,
it's a little bit
wow,
not just over the top, it is kind of like incitement to violence.
Yeah.
And
so
there's just too much of that happening from what people, they consider themselves left-wing side of the spectrum. They're
honestly,
not. They're right-wing.
I don't know.
You cannot be emphasizing race like that and be left-wing. Left-wing is about, it's about being international, like about everyone having equal opportunity, not equal outcomes. Because there's some folks that just don't, I'm talking about individuals, who just don't try, and they should not be afforded equal outcome. Their children should be given equal opportunity. So if people are, let's say, gambling addicts and stuff like that, their children should be fed in the school system and stuff like 3 meals.
Healthy meals provided in schools.
Education should be as much as possible equal across the board. They shouldn't allow what do they call them, charter schools and stuff like that. Or I suppose.
And honestly, I don't think there should be in the lunchroom, people shouldn't be allowed to bring their own lunch. They can go have lunch with their parents at home or whatever, but the meals should be provided by the schools, and everybody should get the same meal. Or, you know, a vegan option versus a, you know, whatever. Like, you have the same things available to you to choose from. And there's nothing like pop machines and chip machines for kids to choose from. It's just healthy stuff that they're, and then they can get that when they're at home or when they go out, but not in the school. It shouldn't be there. I remember there were the junk food machines in the cafeteria at my high school, and it shouldn't be there. It's not right to have those things there. And I mean, we didn't have lunches that were provided by the school within the Canadian public school system, but they should be. And I mean, my parents were sending us with healthy lunches, but we were embarrassed to eat them because we wanted the stuff that other kids got, like granola bars and stuff like that. And we thought that eating healthy food made us look poor or something, which we were. But and then there was one girl that she wanted. My parents had made me a treat. I'd wanted chips. They'd asked me what I wanted in my lunch. I said, I don't want to bring the lunch anymore. And they were like, well, what do you want? You know, and I was like, chips and whatever, right? And so they made homemade chips. They started making homemade chips for us, and they were like kettle style kind of chips, right? And we'd get a little baggie of chips, and I was embarrassed to eat those at school. And then somebody I knew at school was like, well, I have regular chip bag. I would love to trade for your, and so she did, right? She did. And then I didn't feel so bad about eating my homemade chips, because there was somebody who actually went out of her way. So thank you, Candace Sutter, for wanting my chips and making me feel like I wasn't a poor kid. So thank you. And she was always very nice to me. And I haven't been the easiest person to get along with in my life, so I get grumpy. And I honestly, I try to push people away when they get too close. I don't know why I do it, but I get stressed out around people, and then I'll try to make them go away. Once it gets to the point where I'm feeling stressed out and too closed in with people. Anyway, what do you do? And then you get into a marriage and you have separate houses. Oh well.
Then you have what?
Separate houses.
That's just the way it worked out.
It's just the way it worked out. Yeah. Anyway, do you have anything you're going to talk about, or we're just going to shut this thing down?
I don't think I heard too much craziness on the CBC overnight. It's kind of unusual.
I didn't, because I don't listen to that stuff. Well, I do when we go out on a hike, because I'll listen to it on the way there, on the way back.
Well, sometimes we don't even play it then.
Yeah, we stopped for a while, which was good. Anyway, okay, I guess that's it then.